Today I want to talk about life and how life is perceived to be valued, and how even a disabled life does not have the same value as other disabled lives. This is going to be a really deep episode, a really strong triggering episode, so this is a trigger warning. I'm really going to try to go deep into the woods with this particular topic. The following is a part of Uchi Productions. All rights reserved by Kevin Mills and his colleagues. All opinions expressed are strictly their own. I am Kevin Nunez, and I want to officially welcome you to another episode of The Purposely Broken World. Society, disability, and faith always interact with each other. Let me explain how. 1 in 4 Americans have a disability. Everyone has faith in someone or something. And whether we want to admit it or not, we're all part of society. So if all these things work together, let's talk about them together. Welcome to the show. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Advocacy Life, podcast, and blog. Podcast episodes will be released once a month. Blogs will be released once every week on Wednesdays. See you soon. Hello, friends, family, boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the April edition of the Purposely Broken World. I hope everyone's having a good day. Thank you for a few minutes together. I'm really grateful for that. I hope everyone is enjoying the episodes by Miss Betsy Lee. She is the latest addition to the Advocacy Life podcast and blog. Her show is called Living the Extraordinary Life, so please feel free to check that out whenever you feel comfortable. Spring has sprung. I'm recording this on a perfectly beautiful spring day, early spring. You are seeing this on April 1st, so happy April Fool's Day. Hope you guys were able to pull off some safe, innocent pranks. One time I successfully fooled people into thinking I had a supermodel girlfriend when I posted a picture of a random supermodel on Facebook. Believe it or not, people actually believed me, and they thought that it was real. But I had them going for a good day or so. Then there was a time where my dad posted on Facebook that he was stuck on Puerto Rico without a ride, and of course he was not. He was in New Jersey, so it was a good little April Fool's Day trick there. Hope you guys were able to have some good April Fools. Today I want to talk about life and how life is perceived to be valued, and how even a disabled life does not have the same value as other disabled lives. This is going to be a really deep episode, a really strong triggering episode, so this is a trigger warning. I'm really going to try to go deep into the woods with this particular topic today. As always, I'm going to try to use some notables from pop culture and film to try to illustrate my point. Usually I don't give a parental advisory warning, but this one is really PG-13. So if you have children around, please listen to this before you have them listen to it. I'm not going to get into sex or anything raunchy like that, I promise. but it's gonna delve into some topics about life and death, and again, how we value life and death. What is life? What is death? So again, trigger warning, parental warning, sensitivity warning, because the purpose of the show is to raise questions and not purposely not give answers, because I want people to think. I want people to have a conversation. I want people to go on with their day after they, listen to this, hopefully, and expand on their own experiences. When you see someone like me with a disability, a physical disability, what do you think about? What goes through your mind? Do you feel bad for me? Do you see me as equal? Do you wonder how I get through my day? Let me use a modern example of what I'm trying to get at here. If you've seen the movie Me Before You, it stars Emma Clarke, the girl from Game of Thrones, Khaleesi, if you will. The synopsis of the movie is this. Emma Clarke plays Louisa. She is a companion, not a caregiver, for this paralyzed man named Will Traynor, who is paralyzed from the chest down, who has lots of money but is very depressed. So she is contracted by the mother of the individual, again his name is Will Traynor, to give him friendship and companionship. Not necessarily love, but just a friend. They start out that way. They're both kind of afraid of each other. She doesn't know what it's like to be with a person with a disability of any kind. Again, it's not sexual in nature, their relationship. He very much pushes her away. She is frightened of him, because she's very intimidated as well. Once again, the movie's called Me Before You, and it's also a book with the same title. Today I want to talk about life and how life is. So, as often happens with these movies, little by little they start to get to know each other, and they do fall in love. You would think happily ever after. It's a nice little safe romantic comedy. However, that is not the case. As spoiler alert, and this is not a spoiler alert really, because the movie is over 10 years old, because the book is over 10 years old. So either way, heavy spoiler warning, but it's kind of crucial to the conversation. So if you want to go back and watch the movie without spoilers, go watch the movie and then come back to me for the rest of the conversation. But after they slowly get to know each other, they fall in love. They have conversations, deep conversations. She gets to understand him. He understands her. After they initially did not click, after she finally confesses her love for him, he proceeds to commit assisted suicide. Partially because he was a sport action junkie, very physical gentleman. But when he was paralyzed, he couldn't deal with the depression, he couldn't deal with the sadness, he couldn't deal with the fact that, according to this movie, he could not make love to this girl he wants to love. So his solution is to commit assisted suicide. And of course, this leaves kind of an unresolved ending because she goes through this process with him, and it's very tragic and it's very sad. At least that's what it's meant to portray. However, as a person with a physical disability, this is not an accurate portrayal by any means. First of all, let me point this out. Men and women with physical disabilities, with spinal impairments, and yes, cerebral palsy is a spinal impairment. It is a TBI, a traumatic brain injury, can very well have sexual activities. If you don't believe me, there's a podcast and website called Wags of SCI. It is literally a group of women who are married or girlfriends of people with spinal cord injuries and have children, have lives, have sex. I will leave a link to their show as well. Again, it's called WAGS, Wives and Girlfriends of SCI. SCI is, of course, spinal cord injury. Another movie that portrays physical impairments that you've probably all seen on Netflix with Selena Gomez, called The Fundamentals of Caring. It's this typical coming-of-age story with a man who has a young man with muscular dystrophy, and ultimately he goes on this whirlwind adventure of finding himself, getting confidence, having a girlfriend, yada yada yada. But again, ultimately, even though they don't show it in the movie, he is going to quote unquote die because he has this horrible condition and he has only these few months or years to live before he tragically passes away. Why is it that when you see someone like me with a physical disability, because they have a wheelchair, you think the only solution, the only portrayal that is appropriate is death? Why is physical disability automatically triggered with death? Again, trigger warning here. I'm going to go into some deep territory. There is a vast thought that if you have any kind of disability, physical, you are supposed to slowly suffer and die. One time I went to a mall, again this is a personal experience, back when you would go to a mall, before COVID, of course, killed the world. And I was getting off the elevator, because I was going to go watch a movie, back when you'd watch movies at malls. The person, the father and son, saw me and my caregiver exiting the elevator. This man looked at his son and said, "Thank God you're not like him. You didn't turn out like him." This man was literally thanking God that his son was not physically disabled. As if my existence, because I'm in a wheelchair, because I'm in a 300-pound tank, is so offensive and so horrifying. He has to stop what he's doing and thank God that his son was not horribly disfigured or horribly mangled with a disability like mine. Stop and think about that. I'm minding my own business, going to see a movie, getting off the elevator, and this man has to stop and worship the Almighty Creator because his son does not have a physical disability. Not for nothing, folks. But yes, my life is not easy. Yes, I cannot do 1,000 things. Yes, I'm not walking. Yes, I'm not using the bathroom by myself. But my life is probably better than that guy's is because I understand what life is. I understand what love is. I have to see love every day. You could say this is an isolated incident. It's just the guy on a bad day. But if you ask around, the reality is people with disabilities are so often portrayed as physical disabilities that is so horrifying that it cannot be fathomed. When we see people with invisible disabilities, it is more acceptable, more tolerated than ever, which is a very good thing. But again, when you see someone with a physical disability of any kind, let's say the child is going to be diagnosed with Down syndrome, according to the early tests. Is that so horrible? What is so horrible about Down syndrome? Because he looks different? Because he has to go to special ed, quote unquote? As a person who volunteered all his life in special ed programs, because I was not in special ed, but I made sure to go to special ed to volunteer because they were still my peers, that was still my community. People with Down syndrome can have some of the best hearts, some of the best personalities you could ever imagine. But no, that cannot be allowed. That's an abomination, right? What good is it to have everything if you don't use it? People have arms and legs and their full faculties, but they waste away playing video games, or they waste away trying to have relationships, quote unquote, and you know what I mean by relationships, on a momentary basis, because it makes them feel good for a moment, but they can't appreciate what they have right in front of them. Is that so horrible? My point is this, folks. It's quite simple. What good is it to have everything if you do nothing with it? Okay, yeah, I'm not the typical guy girls date. I get that. I'm not the guy parents dream up when they envision a partner for their girlfriend or wives or whatever. I get that. But some of the best things in life don't come the way you plan them. Stop being so focused on what society says. Do you not realize that things we value in this world, quote unquote, are not what God tells us to value? But no, that doesn't matter, does it? That's not sexy, right? What is better? To not be in a relationship and be single, and yes, be lonely? Or be in an abusive relationship because he pays the bills or she pays the bills? Because men also get abused. Let's put that out there. Let's get that right. So, what's better? To be part of a broken system and try to fix it? or to sit and complain and actually not do anything about it. I'm an advocate. I work with the state. I fight every day for people with disabilities. And I do make a difference. But if I stay at home and complain and smoke every day, but literally I don't do anything with my life. I have no life plan. I have no life goals. But somehow that's better? Why don't we value life anymore? What is so horrible? Wake up. I hope I gave you something to think about. Maybe I said something. Maybe I said nothing at all. Thank you for listening. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. See you very soon. Once again, this is the Purposely Broken World, part of the Advocacy Life Podcast Network. See you. Thank you so much for listening. That was another episode of the Purposely Broken World as a part of the Advocacy Life Podcast Network. Please like, subscribe, and comment all on our social medias at the Advocacy Life Podcast and blog. If you want bonus content, you must subscribe with a small monthly fee. You'll get new episodes and fresh content of the podcast and possibly bonus blogs. Subscribe today, tell your friends, leave a review. That's how you make a difference. Thanks for listening and or watching to the Purposely Broken World on the Advocacy Life Podcast Network.